At the Texas State Fair in Dallas today, Ford unveiled their long-awaited 2017 F-Series Super Duty pickup trucks. The new aluminum body trucks are lighter, more capable, and have more stuff than ever before. The first truly new F-Series Super Duty trucks in nearly 20 years, the 2017 inherits the aluminum body structure from the new F-150, though it has a lot of visual detail differences to set it apart. The front end is unique and sure to have a love-hate reaction in the Ford faithful out there. Its brick wall upright posture is far more imposing than the F-150. Its headlights are larger by a long shot, and its grille is far taller. I admit that I didn't like it at first, but in the day of working on this video, it's already starting to grow on me. It gets its own special hood, and the fenders have vent emblem insets that are all the rage these days. Those large grills will vary in design and finish depending on the trim grades, and out back, the bedsides afford for a larger set of tail lamps, and the tailgate, well, it gets its own trims too. Outside of that, the body design is for the first time in a long time shared with the F-150. The Super Duty no longer has its own distinctive sheet metal in large. Under the skin, however, it has its own frames and components that do set it apart. Because the new aluminum body saves so much weight, Ford beefed up the frames, axles, suspension, and the drivetrain components to increase the Super Duty's towing and hauling capacities. Thus, the new Super Duty is only about 350 pounds lighter instead of the 700-pound savings we saw with the F-150. All new frames across the line from the F-250 all the way up to the F-450 are stronger and heavier, now using up to 6 times the amount of high-strength steels. Frame rails are 1.5 inches taller and are fully boxed, as are the cross members, making it up to 24 times stiffer, so says Ford. The exception to this is the F-450 chassis cab, which has a C-channel frame from the cab rearward to make life easier when it comes to bolting on beds, boxes, and other accessories for the upfitters. In all, there are up to 8 wheelbases available across the line, including that chassis cab. The suspension systems will be by and large the same formats as the current truck line, starting with a twin I-beam front suspension on the lower end and graduating up to solid front axles for the heavier duty models. With the new frames and beefed up components, expect towing and hauling capacities to grow a good measure. Because the changeover to aluminum and the new design are the big plays here, at least for 2017, the new Super Duty trucks will come with engines buyers are already familiar with. This starts with a second-generation 6.7-liter Power-Stroke diesel V8. Ford says it'll have more power and torque than ever, so expect a bump in both measures over the current truck. It will continue to come with a torque shift 6-speed automatic as the sole transmission option. Gas engines will continue with the 6.2-liter V8, which now gets a torque shift G 6-speed automatic transmission in the F-250, said to increase fuel economy. The F-450 chassis cab will also continue to be available with the venerable 6.8-liter V10. Horsepower specs for all of these will come a little bit later. Past all the nuts and bolts, the interiors of the new Super Duty get a major step up, whether we're talking about the base XL or the top-of-the-line Platinum. It might look familiar, as the new cabin is essentially identical to that of the new F-150, but there are a number of trim and detail differences to set them apart just a bit. A new large-screen TFT display in the center of the instrument cluster on higher trim grades will offer a near infinite level of customizable information sets. It's also home to a majority of settings and application menus for all the truck's new features. Key basic cool stuff here, aside all the fancy leathers and woods that you can option, are overhead console-mounted auxiliary switches for all your add-ons. That's pretty cool. And the rear floor on the Super Cabs and Crew Cabs is also flat for easy loading of cargo. Now, if you're into the infotainment, you'll be glad to know the new Sync 3 system will be here, which replaces the old My Ford Touch that most agree was pathetically awful. It promises to be easier to use, less problematic, and even now offers Wi-Fi capability. While the new Super Duty won't have the Pro Trailer Backup Assist found in the F-150, it will have a multi-camera and coaching application, which might actually be more practical. Using up to 6 cameras, including one you can add to the back of your own trailer, it expands your viewpoint immensely. Using some of the tech from the F-150 system, it basically shows you what's going on from all directions and can warn you if you're about to jackknife. A cab-mounted camera also shows you the bed, which can help with connections with a gooseneck or fifth-wheel trailer. Again, I think this is pretty slick. Other trailer love includes an available in-cab trailer tire pressure monitoring system and a new blind spot information system that takes into account your trailer and the space it occupies. And there's also the integrated trailer brake controller and towing apps that have already been available. For 2017, driver aids like lane departure warning and adaptive cruise control will be available in the F-Series Super Duty trucks, and Ford's new adaptive steering wheel, which can add or subtract from your inputs, will also be an available option, though I'm still not sure about that one. All in, when it comes to market about this time next year, the 2017 Ford F-Series Super Duty will be available in XL, XLT, Lariat, King Ranch, and Platinum trims, just as they are now. The only thing left for consumption are the final specifications like horsepower, torque, towing and hauling capacity, as well as the price tag. Now, I expect Ford's going to hold out on all of that stuff till pretty close to when the truck goes on sale because they want it to be on top when it goes to market. And GM, Ram, those guys are wily. They could do anything in the next year, and Ford wants a chance to make sure they can dot their I's and cross their T's and maybe adjust those numbers a little bit if they need to at the last minute. It's a big game, folks. I'm Sam Haymark for Test Driven TV. I hope you enjoyed the ride.